So, as you can clearly see, I have moved. We've got a new setup to work with. We've got the same old bench, but finally, some shade. Thank you. This is probably looking a bit different to the last time you saw it too. But anyway, before we crack onto any of that, let's roll the intro. Welcome back, everyone. I know it's been a long 8 months. I haven't posted since early September, I know. But look, we're back, we're here. The Honda has a hood scoop and a light bar, and I know you want to know how that came to be. So we're going to be cracking onto that in a sec, but just to clear the air, at the end of this video, I will be explaining some changes to this channel and how I'm going to be making these videos and basically the future of the Honda, because over the last 8 months, a lot has changed. Anyway, I figure let's just jump into it. So first things first, that hood scoop. But just before I actually go and show you how I've put this hood scoop on, I wanted to run you through why I chose this specific scoop, what the differences are, and how it sort of has affected the process. So a lot of people will tend to use a Subaru bonnet scoop, usually off like an older Forester, maybe like a GT Forester, sometimes an Impreza or something like that, but typically what I've seen is off a Forester. Now, they do fit the length and the body styling of our CR-V a bit better, they mold to the bonnet easier, but I just personally don't find they have the look of a four-wheel drive. I feel like it makes it more of a street car than a four-wheel drive, and I know it shouldn't be, but it's still important, the aesthetic of it all. I don't want it to look like a racer. I want it to look properly built. I want it to look nice when I'm all done. So I've opted for a Nissan GU Patrol bonnet scoop. Now, there are 3 big reasons for this. One, obviously, as I've said, they look a lot more aggressive than a Subaru hood scoop. That, to me, goes a long way in why I chose it. 2, they actually have a very similar chassis paint code to my RD1 CR-V. The Nissan Gold that they use in their Patrols is almost identical in my opinion, and you can see it night and day with this bonnet scoop. I haven't done any paint to match them. This was really important to me because I think it's still probably likely to be another year until I get to the stage where I get to Raptor coat it. So it was important to me that I can mount it when I want to, and it's not going to look like mismatched jankiness. So that was the second reason I chose this scoop. And third, it's just the cost. Look, I found this on Marketplace for about $50, picked it up same day. With all that said, I guess now we can just go ahead and start bolting this thing on. So let's cut to it. To begin, I had to measure and mark where the studs from the scoop will sit on the bonnet. From there, I was able to trace a rectangular outline around where the scoop will actually sit into the bonnet. Once I had the outline of where I had to make my cut, I fired up my grinder and got to work. Once I'd cut the rectangular shape in the top sheet, I started to pry it off. Now that the top layer of the bonnet was removed, I could see the bracing underneath. I needed to be careful here because I wasn't 100% sure about how much of the bracing I could actually remove while maintaining the strength of the bonnet. The last thing I want for a well-built four-wheel drive is to have a floppy bonnet with no support. It just doesn't make sense. I'll show you how it's looking right now. For now, I'm just going to take a bit more material out of all this, so I'm going to remove the scoop. So, alright, now that that's out of the way, we can see that this is the bit of bracing that I have to remove now. These edges, just anything that goes past here, I want out of the way. I'm going to throw a tarp over my windshield and over my engine bay so I don't get metal shavings in my windshield or engine bay. Now you're probably wondering why I'm not bothering to clear off any of the bonnet in case of sparks. Look, the whole car's getting painted sooner or later, hopefully sooner. I've been wanting to do it for about a year and a bit now, so it's probably going to happen very soon. That's why I'm starting to do these body modifications. But for now, I just don't care. It already looks kind of ratty. There's paint on the sides at the fender where I've cleaned up rust. So I slowly took away material from the bonnet bracing until I realized that, honestly, this bonnet is really well made. and any space I've had to cut out for this scoop is not making a difference to the rigidity. All right, so now that I've got that hole cut out and widened, I'm gonna go ahead and just check the fitment with the scoop back on. If it all looks good, I'll go ahead, clear coat the edges just so it's rust sealed. Okay, so that immediately fits a lot nicer. No more bubble up the back where it wasn't sitting completely flush. I can't see any engine bracing through the hood scoop anymore, so that all looks a lot nicer. What I do still want to do is get like a mesh grill for the front of the intake, but for now I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to pull that off and I'm going to clear coat the bare metal edges. And so that is the bonnet scoop done. So moving on, you'll probably remember from the last vlogs, or maybe you won't because it's been 8 long months, I have all of my lower control arm bushings need replacing. Just every single one. They're all fucked. They are all clunking. Clunk, clunk, clunk. Shift, clunk. Anything happens, clunk. Go down a bump, clunk. So what I've been doing is, I don't want to go back to rubber. My experience with rubber bushings has not been pleasant. They've worn out faster than I've liked, especially in off-road scenarios. And I've been taking note of what a lot of four-wheel drives are using. And they're using Super Pro polyurethane bushings. Now these come with a lifetime off-road warranty. I spoke to the guys at Fulcrum and they told me, basically unless you jump your car, which they will fucking be able to tell if you jump your car and blow your bushings, these bushings are covered. So that's what I wanted. I want to be able to take this thing and any issues I have and not be like, oh, well, you're abusing it. No, off-road warranty, lifetime. So Fulcrum went ahead and installed for me all my lower control arm bushings for my front and rear and some new ball joints. And they run great. Again, it's been 8 months on, we're still running sweet. So why am I being reserved? Well, I'm just gonna play this clip and maybe you can see the issue I had right after they were installed. Like the fucking drive home what happened. Just roll the clip. Oh, fuck. So, as you can see now, the shock fork is sitting nice as it used to. This CV is spitting a fuck ton of grease out everywhere. Holy shit. Where has that all come from? Good lord. Fuck. That is so much grease. Man, that is spit from somewhere. I don't like that. So I've literally only driven home. This CV boot split right here. Started squeezing grease out all through here. So I've used a fuck ton of rags to clean up my wheel and some of this grease, and I've just sprayed some degreaser over everything, try and clean it up. Hopefully, I'm going to take it for another drive now. Hopefully it doesn't spit anymore. I don't know that it has any more to spit. Super demotivating, but I'm going to show you them anyway. So ignoring the copious rags I've got down here, if you have a look at the strut fork, it is sitting nice and level in that bushing now. Previously, this bushing was dipped and pressing all the way at the bottom of the lower control arm, so every time I would hit a bump, it would knock. God damn. Just to recap, I just spent $1,000 at Fulcrum Suspension, who did amazing work, getting my car sorted, and on the drive home, because my axles were obviously used to being on less of an angle because my bushings had sagged that much, the boots just said see you later and tore and spit grease everywhere. So that took me about an hour to clean up, and now I have to go through the process of replacing both my front CV shafts because I'm not rebuilding these ones. So what I did was I went to the wreckers. I picked up some new shafts. I took them to my local CV steering shop and they rebuilt them. And then $350 later, this is what we're dealing with. I went to Australian CV and Power Steering with 2 Wreckers CV and I got them fully reconditioned. So I've got new cups, new boots, and new roller bearings. So they're going in today, both sides, and I'll have fully refreshed front end. Okay, so one side CV swapped. I've got the half shaft out. Yeah, go and pop the new CV in. The biggest thing I did was I took the brake off rather than disconnected the lower ball joint. Was able to get enough movement to get the CV in with that. Yeah, just bolting it all back together and going to do the other side. This is a miserable job. Finally, I can relax. The Honda is driving nice again. It's steering straight. It's not clunking. It's not squealing. It's not pulling. It's just driving nice. So, I'm going to book some camping next week. It might be raining, but we're going. Okay. Hey, I know, abrupt, but look, there's a reason for it. So let me explain. Day 3 was just myself, Jamie, and Cooper, my dog. We packed up our swag because we hadn't seasoned it and we were worried about the rain coming. Also because we weren't sure how quickly we might have to pack down in the rain if it hit, so we wanted to be prepared. We figured Cooper won't sleep in the swag, so we'll all sleep together in the awning tent. Holy boy, that was a mistake. So we went to bed quite early, we were quite tired. I think we passed out around 6:30 p.m. and around 11:30 p.m. we were awoken to thunder rumbling in the distance. And so Jamie and myself decided to have a quick conversation. What do we do in the instance of the storm getting bad? We didn't really get much chance to discuss that though, because within about 2 minutes, lightning hit a tree within 200 meters of our campsite. It was terrifying. Naturally, we started trying to pack everything up. We had a table, we had cooking stuff, we had sleeping stuff, we had entertainment stuff, we had food, bedding, all had to be hauled into the Honda. Did we get time to do that? Nah, because about a minute later, water's thundering down. Now, we set up the awning tent properly. There's a water runoff sloping down. We've got 3 guy ropes each side because I don't trust their shitty King's gear. And for good reason. About a minute into this water, me holding up the awning so it's not pooling in the center despite the center runoff, and the fact that it's fully extended with the poles, what do you think happens? Oh, you think maybe an Adventure King's pole might have snapped? Where would you get that idea? That's just great. Yeah, it fucking snapped. So, we're in an awning tent, being hammered by rain, and this side pole has snapped inwards towards us. So one of us now has to hold this up while we haul all of our gear for 2 people. Took us about 25 minutes in the pissing rain. All our food, bedding, tables, cookware, dog food, bowls, everything into the car at nearly midnight in thundering rain because a shitty piece of Adventure King's equipment failed on me for the 2nd camping trip in a row. And that was the end of our camping trip. That was my last holiday, 8 months ago. But all of that is the perfect segue. I have had this CRV for 4 years now. In that 4 years, I have spent over $5,000 on a dodgy mechanic who fucked me over and left me with 2 clutches and a master cylinder that failed in under 10,000 kilometers because he didn't bother to check them properly. Since then, I've had a new master cylinder and clutch put in that have done over 20,000 kilometers, so fuck you, shop. On top of that, I've had to replace my steering rack twice. My rack ends are going out now. My point being, this is a money pit, and it can't continue. It just can't. This is my daily, or has been my daily. I've had a Mazda 3, conked on me. Had a Subaru Outback, got it crashed by my brother. So, it's just been a thing where I've been relying on this while wanting to build it, and I just don't want to do that anymore. The B20 is about to kick it. It's at 318,000 kilometers. The AC clutch is going. Engine mounts are going. It leaks. It has a ding in the oil pan, a ding in the exhaust header. It needs so much work. It hasn't had a valve adjustment in the 85,000K I've owned it. So I'm getting a K24 and I'm putting it in. That's right, you heard it. K-swap is happening on this thing sometime over the next year. But I can't do that if I need to rely on this. So this is leading into why I haven't been posting videos. Basically, I've been saving so I can buy a responsible car that you'll never, ever, ever see on this channel. I'll never mod it, won't do anything to it. It's purely so I can permanently park this to work on it and make it my weekender. I don't want to run king shit. I don't want to run any cheap, half-assed crap, so I just need to be able to take this time to pour everything into it. this is going to be the camper I always wanted it to be. And I will not be using Adventure King's parts. I'm going to be building it with parts that are going to last. I'm done replacing stuff that I've already paid for. So everything I do going forward, it's a one and done sort of plan. And that's it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this little update maybe sort of gave you an idea of what's been going on and what you've got to look forward to probably in a few months' time still. And thank you for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.